Okay, welcome back everyone. So, got another episode of Pokemon Gym Manager here. I believe this is episode 4. You can see right there we are on day 22, so it should be the 4th week. As I stated in either the last video or the one before that, I'm going to mostly start these off just giving you guys a quick team recap, just to make sure you can see what I'm working with instead of counting on myself to remember or take notes to make sure I'm keeping you up to date with everything that's happening. But yeah, shouldn't really be any changes from the last time. Well, from the last episode. And I think I mentioned it a little bit in the last episode, but I didn't actually show it. There is one new, I guess, feature that is available to us now. We got a letter in the mail. Last episode, I was definitely considering firing Lauren, but she has a routes here, and then I noticed at this point that that routes has an attack boosting nature, meaning we could definitely benefit from evolving that into a Gallade. I mean, the routes is at level 21, so we literally just need to level it up once. That is a Curlia, and then I just need, I believe it's the Dawnstone. So yeah, that shows up fairly regularly at the item shop. So yeah, we can definitely get a Gallade pretty soon. Um, so yeah, the audio here, kind of like with the last few episodes, is going to be a mix of both live while I was recording and just voiceover and editing. At the moment, I'm editing just because, yeah, I rambled on for too much um, in while I was recording, so a lot of that is going to end up cut out anyway. But main point is, yeah, I will hopefully be able to get the next episode. Oh, and this is kind of what I was talking about, the new feature. So yeah, this guy showed up in the forest that's just outside of town. Basically, he has better, like actual competitive items instead of just evolutionary or, um, random, just like regular playthrough items. But yes, I believe he's like a martial artist based on the sprite. But yeah, that guy every day just has like a random competitive item. So, just to give an example of competitive items, I mean, if you didn't catch it on the screen there, because I believe I'm going to leave that section super short. You can think of leftovers. I haven't seen any of the choice items, but items like that, leftovers, black sludge, scope lens, wide lens, that kind of thing. They are really, really expensive. But yeah, apart from that, there wasn't really anything new. Again, the item shop just has new things on the daily, or, well, random things on the daily. And this is kind of just what shows off what I'm saying. Lauren, it sucks because Lauren really doesn't have a bad team, but her team is just not... It just needs to be evolved for it to be able to put up with it, because rare candies aren't a thing here as far as I'm aware. So I can't just level up her team randomly. It has to be through actual battling. So yeah, Michael's still Employee of the Month. Brandon has absolutely improved. He actually has solid levels now. And then not much else. But as I was saying before, yes, so these recording sessions are becoming longer and longer. And that's kind of just the fact of, the main strategy is get a bunch of solid Pokemon, roughly at your level at the right level on your teams, just because worst case scenario, the CPU can war of attrition just from the sheer number of Pokemon that you have. But because of that, that means that the battles overall take so much longer to get through. Even if we're getting washed or even if we're running through them. I don't know if this is a guaranteed trend, but definitely the enemies seem to be having larger teams on average, or at least it certainly feels that way. So if you're wondering why that just went so fast, well, firstly, nothing really happened in the second day there, so day 23, I believe it was. And then also, I made the mistake of misclicking in the upgrade selection screen, so for day 22, we just didn't get an upgrade. I skipped it without meaning to, so yeah, that sucks, but not the end of the world. We actually ended up in another gym leader only challenge here, hence why you might see that. And the only real change that happened in the town during day 23 is that in the adoption center there was a Shelgon available, which you might have seen right there. So I got a Shelgon and put it on Brandon's team. I kind of forgot who I got rid of. I am actually completely blanking on which Pokemon I got rid of for that. Huh. So this is kind of the beauty of doing things in editing. I just went back and double checked the teams that I went through in the beginning. I got rid of Kabuto for what do you call it? For Shelgon. Yeah, if anyone really saw it, Kabuto was level 16 at that point, and I already have Tirtuga, who I'm pretty sure Caracosta does have a higher base stat total, but even without that, you know, same weaknesses, very similar Pokemon. I think Kabutops is probably faster than Caracosta. It like defense-wise, they should be roughly the same. Attack-wise is where Kabutops might be a little bit ahead. But Caracosta does have the advantage of Shell Smash. And it also gets sturdy. So I would say Caracosta has an edge in just general usability. And then also just being level 16, I can put the experience share on it, but it's, you know, I think the best way of getting through this game is just to keep using what's available to you to keep boosting your employees to the level they need to be. Because otherwise you just need to have, what will be the max? 6x6 is what, 30? So I'd need 36 experience shares just right off the bat, and you know, money, like we are at the point where we're steadily, I mean, the lowest I've been in like this episode and the last episode as far as money goes is like 5k. So you know, we're steadily making good amounts of money, but still, if we want the competitive items, each one, the cheapest ones I've seen are like 10,000, and then the secret shop guy who actually has all the strong moves, his items are all 5k at least. Not to mention the better evolutionary items, or the more rare ones, as in not like water, thunder, and firestones, are all, you know, a couple thousand. So it builds up. It's honestly, unless the Pokemon is guaranteed to be Like, unless it's like a pseudo-legendary, like Metagross or Shelgon, you know, where it's like the late game will make up for not so great grinding on it. Um, it's just not really worth keeping. And then you guys might notice from the battling, yeah, so my trainers have definitely improved. Boosting the trainer level has definitely made a big difference. But they do still make some asinine choices. Absolutely. In this battle in particular, I believe this is day 3 now at this point, so it'll be day 24 in game, I believe. I actually had to retry like 3 different times. I believe I did tell you guys before that I had tested it out, and if you fail to, you know, win on a specific day, it's just game over, and you have to like fully restart either from your save or just start a new save. I already made the decision, you know, given that I'm trying to do this as like playthrough type of thing, that if we run into that, unless it's a situation where no matter what I strategize and do with the resources I have available at that time, unless it's a situation where like with all of that I still can't win on the day, like even switching to myself fully controlling what's happening, then I would just start over the day and just keep going from there. Yeah, because if I have to start all the way from the beginning, that like this is just going to take too many episodes. And while I do find this game very interesting, I just don't think it would be good for a series, you know, because it's this is too drawn out to kind of work the way like a roguelite would work, where it's like just do over all in one go. In this case, you know, it's Pokemon, so it's kind of drawn out. But needless to say, yeah, if you guys caught it, I did finally get routes to evolve. So now we have a Curlia. And in anticipation of this, I did buy a Dawn. I'm pretty sure it's the Dawn Stone. I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm almost certain it's the Dawn Stone. Either way, I bought the right item, so we have a Gallade now, which I'm hoping will make Lauren viable. Just because I know it's one of those things where I've mentioned kind of war of attrition several times. Again, you know, it's just having type diversity and having many Pokemon will just be super helpful. Speaking of diversity, our Remoraid evolved into Octillery, which is honestly really good, because Octillery kind of unfortunately is a mixed attacker. And I say unfortunate because the thing with mixed attackers is they tend to, usually, under most circumstances, it's just more efficient to have them be primarily special attacker or primarily physical attacker from an offensive perspective. It's pretty rare that the mixed attackers are like, you know, like, oh yeah, this is good viability that I can do it this. You tend to end up with Pokemon that can actually take down, you know, like one-shot a lot of things if they are focused on one of the attack stats, as opposed to, you know, mixing their already probably below 500 or at best hovering around 500 base stats. It's all about like effective stat spreads, and that has a lot to do with just kind of thinking about the history of Pokemon, why there's such like heavy power creep compared to a lot of earlier Pokemon. Like you look at Gen 1 and Gen 2, there are a lot of Pokemon that were quite good back in the day, or they were quite solid. But you compare them to the Pokemon coming out now, and so many Pokemon now have um, have stat spreads that just make them, you know, just a little bit faster, just a little bit stronger, or give them better utility. Like if you look at competitive, the competitive scene in Pokemon, um, it's probably heavily biased towards more recent. I guess that kind of happens just because it's like new games, so you know you want people to focus on the new game as well. But yeah, just looking, even looking at legendaries, like the more recent legendaries, particularly Zacian and Miraidon, like apart from Megas, it's just I can't really think of any times when a legendary was so just blatantly dominant, other than the fact that they're really strong or something, you know. But anyway, I digress. I'm just rambling at this point. This game doesn't exactly. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I guess you could argue that this game does require, you know, a lot more strategizing than you might expect. So this one was kind of tough to decide because, as I said, raising the trainer skills did make a big difference, in my opinion. At least I certainly was feeling much less frustrated than I had been with the trainers who I raised their levels. I don't know how high the trainer levels can go, because I believe the CPU, as in the enemies we're facing, also have higher trainer levels now. It at least feels that way. Also, if you're wondering why I actually have a selection during this battle, this was another gym trainer only battle, and I double checked the settings before I actually started this battle, or this series of battles. I'm pretty sure the game is just designed to give you as much of a chance as possible to just switch back to manual control instead of keeping the CPU in control whenever it's a gym trainer only. Because I double checked on the settings, it was still set to CPU control for the trainers. So yeah, I can't do too much about that. Or it might just be a bug. I don't mind it too much, because again, Brandon, he's become a lot more solid. And it would suck to have to keep repeating over and over and just hope for the RNG to make Brandon select, you know, the actual right choice for a move. Now, this selection was interesting because Mr. Mime isn't bad. It really isn't. He's a pretty decent special wall, in my opinion. And then Fairy Psychic is a good typing. So yeah, I was considering it. I had to look up, you know, what Mr. Mime gets. He also gets a lot of utility. I mean, what's Mr. Mime known for? Even just through the anime, you know, the screens. So I was very tempted. I was mostly thinking, oh, you know, since Lauren is supposed to be a psychic, Mr. Mime would go well on her team. He would fit the theme. He would be a higher level than her current Pokemon, so I could just, you know, keep experience shares on her. But ultimately I decided to, you know, impose the company mandated training because it would still just take a while to level up Lauren. And the main reason I haven't fired her is because, again, you know, even if she extends the battles, just the potential in her team is too good. And I also haven't seen, you know, get a random gym trainer in quite a while. So I figured, okay, just keep going with her. You know, worst case scenario, I can keep adopting Pokemon just to bring her back up to level. Ideally, I could level up her current team because, again, that's a Reuniclus, which is pretty good. Gengar, which is really good. Slowbro or Slowking, both very solid to actually good choices. And a Gallade, which isn't incredible, but is still a good attacker. So the only thing worth pointing out from anything that I got in the town this day is that the secret shop was back in town and they had Moonblast. So Togekiss's moveset is basically done. Air Slash, what was it? Air Slash, Moonblast, Aura Sphere. I don't know. I can't really think of another coverage move that it might need. The fourth move right now is Life Dew, which, I mean, I think it's only 25% recovery, but that's still, you know, guaranteed recovery. You might have noticed one of the rewards I chose earlier was the leftovers. I decided to put it on Togekiss. Right now, Togekiss is by far our best Pokemon. Like, no doubt. If I leveled up Metagross, that might take the cake, but yeah, Togekiss is really, really good. So this is another one that was tough, because we do have a skill up ×2. So yeah, by skill level by 2 here. Oh, apart from the Togekiss, I also picked up a Swinub for Kelsey. So at this point, I was debating, okay, do I want another Gibble because... Or do I want the Gibble because, you know, Brandon and Michael's teams are pretty set at the moment. And then Lauren, I mean, you know, I want to try with Lauren, but I don't know. I'm not really seeing it. I decided to go with it because, again, another pseudo, I just feel that's too good. I just felt that was too good to pass up. But yeah, so Kelsey kind of picking up a bit of an ice weakness. It depends on whether when the Swinub evolves it gets thick fat or not. But that's 2 ground types, and then I mean Togekiss is quite bulky, so it can unless it's actually facing like a strong ice physical attacker, it should be able to hold its own. As you can see here, yeah, Lauren finally managed to get some levels. But she is still level trainer 1, so she wasn't really clicking what I needed her to click here with Calate. Yeah, Slowpoke finally gaining some levels. Sadly, Ghastly, because it is under-leveled, it's also super frail, so it just doesn't get a chance to do enough damage. But yeah, Kelsey, Brandon, and Michael, their teams coming along quite nicely so far. Brandon wants all of his Pokemon to actually get fully evolved. It'll be great. Octillery, again, for kind of mid-tier, and honestly, even late game, it should be fine. Again, it is a solid attacker. It doesn't do massive amounts of damage, hence why I do wish it wasn't a mixed attacker, but, you know, that means all of its attacks will do decent chunks, at least. It also has probably, arguably, the best coverage, since, at this point, it has Psybeam, Bubble Beam, and Aurora Beam. So not super powerful, but quite still strong enough for the time being. And you can see here we just picked up Bullet Seed, so now it has even more coverage. And even greater, we got a Lantern. So Lantern is an interesting one. It doesn't, as far as damage goes, it really doesn't do much. But Lantern is a thick Pokemon. I don't mean that in a weird way. It's generally I'm trying to remember. Should I look this up? I guess I might as well. I'm so before I say anything, I'm going to guess. I think it's 120 HP. It's 125. Yeah, no, that is. So it's again. This is handy since I can't. You know, I can't really control the. Again, I'm having the CPU battle, so. Just having a Pokemon that's actually. You know, it's very resilient. Like its defenses are pretty low / mid-tier, but it has enough bulk that actually doesn't matter all that much. So again, in terms of damage, that's kind of why I'm thinking I'm probably gonna keep Thunder Wave and Confuse Ray on it. So I mentioned this before, but the last time that I checked, this game, I think it originally had 100 days, but that got reworked, so now it's 63 days, at least for like main story or main challenge wise. I don't know if there's a post game or just a kind of like, oh, you can keep going indefinitely type of thing. But as it's going, so far the pattern has been the Kanto gym leaders. So the next 4 are going to be interesting because I think honestly after Lieutenant Surge, maybe even earlier, you could technically go face whichever of the remaining gym leaders you wanted. But I do know after Erica, you know, technically it's supposed to be either Koga or Sabrina, and they are roughly on par with each other in terms of levels. I think it's supposed to be Sabrina then Koga, technically, but the game doesn't restrict you from doing one before the other. Although I'm pretty sure it is possible to do Blaine before at least one of them. I don't remember which one lets you surf, and Blaine is on... I don't remember the name of the island, but I do know he's on an island. And then story-wise... So story-wise, I know Blaine and Giovanni are supposed to be the last 2. But again, I believe you could do them. You know, one... like either way, one before the other. I could absolutely be wrong. Because I haven't played through any of the Gen 1 versions in, well, years. But either way, yeah, I'm more just... I'm only bringing this up because I'm curious about how the next few weeks are gonna go, in-game. Not, you know, IRL, but, yeah, I'm curious how they're gonna do that because, you know, if I'm remembering correctly, it could be either Sabrina or Koga next. And then it could be either Blaine or Giovanni next. And then obviously, you know, the day of, it's going to tell me. But yeah, I'm more just curious. And basically, because there's 63 days, you know, assuming that I didn't misread that or misunderstand what the developer was saying with that note. Basically, the final week should be the champion. I'm guessing of Kanto, considering it's been all Kanto gym leader so far. So I would assume blue, although it could technically be Lance. And I'm only saying blue instead of red because the like actual manager sprite that I am is red. All right, we beat Erica. Yeah, so out of the gym leaders I've faced so far, I have to be honest, Erica has been the most disappointing, I guess would be the right way to say it. I decided to finally, well, just go ahead and upgrade Kelsey again. Kelsey and Michael, in my opinion, have the best teams so far out of all my employees. And so with that, you know, apart from Lauren, everyone has completed the company mandated training. But yeah, Erica, her team was the most, you know, simple, I guess, or straightforward out of all the ones I faced so far. So yeah, I don't know. Her team just felt disappointing overall. The other ones, they had like a kind of interesting twist where I was like, oh, shoot, maybe something will actually happen. But all right, guys, with that, we have completed yet another week. The next ones, like I said before, I don't remember if I finished my thought or not, but I should hopefully be able to record and edit the next episode by this coming weekend. This one, I think, will either go on up on the 5th or the 6th, which will be either a Thursday or Friday. And yeah, I'm hoping at the latest by like the following Monday, I'll be able to get up the next episode. But we'll see how it goes. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.